I'm basically passionate about women empowerment. It's something that is on my heart, something that I have started even developing at the university because before COVID we started a club that had a lot to do with empowering the young women. And because also me being a woman, I know the struggles that I've been. So I'm really passionate about this, and when I got the opportunity to really share my experience, and through training, leadership is also something that I'm passionate about, and I believe that it can do a lot. So yeah, this is something that I'm really passionate about.
I'm really passionate about young African women of color understanding that they can take advantage of opportunities, understanding that there is growing accessibility to opportunities, and they need to take the space, take advantage of these opportunities. In my daily life, as a woman who grew up being from the continent and living elsewhere in the world, it was really important for people to understand our perspective, to understand what we have experienced, having come out of colonization and growing up and having to make the space. And this is what we're trying to get the young fellows today to really understand, that we're living in a different world where these opportunities now exist. And it's just up to us to see them and to dive into it, lean in, head first. A training like this is an important milestone for all these women. Even when we were planning this training, we had our assumptions about what they may have experienced and where we thought we could take them, point A to point Z. But then we enter the room, and in reality, when we get there, we learn and we redesign what the training is going to be. At the end of the day, our approach was really about trying to help them and equip them with tools so that when they exited this training and when they enter the workspace, wherever that may be one day, if they're going into the private sector, if they're staying at the UN, if they're going public sector, they would understand that they have the tools to be these leaders. We really wanted them to understand that leadership is not about title, leadership is not about any sort of position, leadership is to be able to inspire. And at the beginning, a lot of them did not see themselves as leaders. We're trying to debunk a lot of this imposter syndrome, to help them to unlearn some of that, to really see themselves as just by being in the room, they are already inspiring people from their home countries. And I think that was a really, really important step for us to be able to take them to that understanding of, you are a leader, you are inspiring, you are this, you are this. And it's been a beautiful experience for them.
Certainly, I think I will just elaborate or just complement what Chiedza said, because I think, like what she said, when we started, they actually didn't, some of them didn't own that leadership. So when we went on to do the training, we also saw some gaps, and we were very strategic about it. So this training is mostly learner-centered, because we want them to own that journey of being a leader. We used quite different topics that we used. We talked about them being a leader. It was actually discussion. We empowered them quite a number of skills like coaching, like negotiation, because they're going to be out there. And it was also exciting that we also got to learn from some of the learners, because they had master classes whereby they actually had to share their knowledge. So we also believe that they have the knowledge, and we're also trying to just unlock that which is within them. Certainly we hope that this training will really bring that they can own that journey as a leader.
So I am a self-proclaimed learning sciences nerd, and a lot of where the science of learning is going today is away from, the all-knowing professor or facilitator standing in front of the room and barking down information at all the participants or the learners. And it's really flipping that around and seeing that learners are way more motivated when they're self-driven, like when they're driven towards a specific goal that they have, not like a syllabus that someone else has told them they must learn. It's a lot more about them directing their own journey in the learning process. So we emphasize autonomy. It's a lot about them directing where the conversation is going, a lot of them bringing in the topics that we're going to actually learn and discuss, being free with how we have organized each session, so that if something comes up that is completely on the left field, but that is something that they want to discuss, we go with the flow. So autonomy is a very, very important part of it. The second one would be immersive learning. So at the African Leadership University, we have what we call our aim up learning principles, and this is what we base it on. So first is autonomy, second is immersive learning. So we've really put them in the deep end with, doing role plays in negotiation yesterday, in an Edwick session. We did role play as well in a session where they were talking about managing up and how to handle your manager, how to lead without authority. We really give them these real life scenarios that they can one day put to practice. The M is for meaningful collaboration. So in the AIM Up principles, meaningful collaboration is all about the fact that as small groups, when we put them into small groups, they create meaning and they derive, definitions to things that may have been cloudy before together. U is for ubiquitous learning, being able to learn from an experience of some sort. And then the P is for play. So of course there's been a lot of fun, a lot of laughter. Yeah. We forget that as children we learned through play. Somehow in formal education we forget that play is an important part of learning, and it's a really great way for us to cement what it is that we've learned and to know that we've mastered it. So we definitely put in elements of play as well.
I believe that, with being a woman, we wear so many hats. And at times it can be really tough out there. So, and also be able to know that when it's tough, they also have to embrace, I think we also taught them about wellness, and to embrace that and to ensure that, of course, I know as a woman you would want to be strong, and people believe that women can do all sorts of things. But I think it's critical that there is a lot of self-care. So we did teach them a lot about self-care, and also them understanding that leadership is not just parochial. You see that it's one road. There are different areas that you can lead, and we want them that wherever you find yourself in, go and lead, go and make an impact, and don't believe that leadership is for the strong, it's for all that. Yeah, in that also, when you are not strong, you're still a leader, and you should be free to be who you are. Tell your story the way that you want it to be, differently, and to embrace that uniqueness.
What I would like the fellows to know as they leave Rwanda, as they leave this training program, is just that in reality, everyone's career has many lives. So yes, on day one, we drafted our mission statements, and we said, what impact we want to make on the world. They coupled this with the Sustainable Development Goals, and I think that was a very uniting, sisterhood building session that we had when we were missions building. But at the same time, just as Edwick said, there are a lot of pressures. There is this, superwoman syndrome that many women, fall prey to. And at the end of the day, I think taking care of themselves is most important. Thinking about not taking themselves too seriously, making sure they have that time for play and for fun, to be young, to make mistakes. It all eventually comes together and makes sense in their second career, third career, whatever it may be. I think that that's just a really important lesson that I've had to learn the hard way, and I really hope that they can just embrace that early.